Hey everyone, welcome to this Quick Start Basics for Network Marketers. We're so happy to be here with you and spend this evening in this class with you going over these basics. Tonight our goal is to equip and empower and entertain and educate you on the basics of building your business. The goal of this school is to teach you how to build a strong and profitable business. Before we get started, want to invite you to grab a pen and paper so we can let you know what's coming up. As you may know, our MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show is noon every Monday through Friday at that Facebook group, the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show, where we go over one of the 21 Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. And I just love these. People are loving them and telling us they have to get their daily lunchtime leadership show, just like they need their daily vitamins and exercise. I feel the same way. I'm so glad to be on them. And also a Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, every Tuesday, Jeff and I do a Facebook Live going over one of the basic principles from the 10 Core. So that's a very, very nice class, too, that people are loving. Every Wednesday night, y'all are invited to the MLM Leadership University, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. A lot of you have been hopping on there because we cover one of the books a month by John Maxwell. This month is Becoming a Person of Influence, and we are on the end of that book on chapters 9 to 10 coming up this coming Wednesday, which will be the last one. The month after that, in December, we go into Everyone Communicates, but Few Listen. So that will be another leadership book that we will cover, very powerful, because as you know, in network marketing, we sell product, sponsor people to do the same thing, and then develop leaders. Not only ourselves as a leader, but develop our team as a leader. And that is crucial for success. That's what Eric Worre has echoed too, those three things. We sell, we sponsor, and we lead. So that's what we have this. We happen to have a very wonderful Black Friday special coming up for you. For those who want to continue on Leadership University, right now Leadership University is a gift for the people in the Quick Start Basics class. And a lot of people are just loving it. And for, again, we soak up so much each time. It's 90 full minutes. And we have questions and answers afterward. So if you haven't been on one of those, you might love to. So for those who want to continue, it's a gift for everybody in the school here in the Quick Start Basics class through December. So it was a gift for 3 months, the October, November, and December. For those who want to continue past that, normally it's a $97 class. But we're inviting you to be part of both classes for $97. However, we are offering a Black Friday special that is a 40% discount on both of those classes if paid for a whole year at a time. And the deadline to do that is November 30th, because if you do it by that time, you get December for free. December Quick Start Basics, which would normally be $25, that's included in there for free. So a whole year of those classes would normally be at the combined rate of $97 a month. The whole year would be $1,164. With the 40% off, it is only $696 for the entire year, with December thrown in. So doing that, you get your whole year committed, paid for, out of the way, which some of our members have done. They have paid for a whole year in advance for their own commitment to themselves, which I love. I really love and applaud that. So that is the 40% off if done by midnight November 30th. And if you have any questions about that, you can just private message me or call me. And I put the link to do that in our Facebook group and in the emails going out to you. And some people are planning ahead already for the January Indianapolis event that we hold for a year. And so in January, this will be the launch enterprise breakthrough. And this will be about mindset, language and, financial language and mindset. People who attended the October one were raving about it. Everyone who came to that said they had a breakthrough in their own way. They got what they came for. I would like to welcome our new members to the Quick Start Basics and the school. We have Eve Hummel, who has just joined us. And why Quick Start Basics? Well, first of all, our purpose of the whole school is to help people grow, educate, equip, and empower entrepreneurs and create independent servant leaders. I think you all know this is Jeffrey David Gamble of My Leadership Network, also certified John Maxwell trainer coach, and Bess McCarty coach for network marketers, also the shrink of MLM. We partner to bring you these generic trainings every Sunday here Eastern Time on Sunday nights. Now, why do we go over the basics and why do we repeat them? We actually repeat them 4 times a year. It is a bit like because we are human, we need to hear the basics over and over again, and the fruits of that show up in our business over time, the more that we invest. And it's kind of like the Chinese bamboo story, where the Chinese farmers know that the bamboo takes 5 years to grow and before it even sends up a shoot. The farmer plants the seed, and in the meantime, he has to water that field every day for 5 years, not even knowing if the seed has sprouted or not, but he just has the faith that he planted it, that nature's going to do its thing, and that he's going to carry water out to it every day for 5 years. That takes a lot of trust and persistency and belief, but he does it every day. If he misses a day, it won't work. So, and water's not light to carry if you've ever carried water. So this is what the farmer does. Meanwhile, his neighbors are ridiculing him, saying, look at this silly man, nothing's coming up, he's wasting his time. So he not only has to do the work, but he has to, and it faces own doubts. Well, what if that seed what if those seeds were no good? What if those seeds didn't sprout? But he keeps watering it anyway, having that trust and faith, and he's very patient. Well, when the seeds come up, I think it takes 6 weeks for them to grow like 90 feet tall. All of a sudden, they shoot up fast. But remember, it took those 5 years of learning. It doesn't take that long in network marketing, but it could take a while for us to learn the basics and learn them well and begin to integrate them in our life. Now, this is Quick Start Basics, so you don't have to take that long, but each time that you do repeat this class, you learn it deeper and deeper. And so we ask you to keep track of how many you have attended here, including the replays. Some people have, and when you have completed all 10 of attending here and the replays, let me know, and we will give you your first round, your first certificate for the first round. Some of you have already done that, and you're working on your second round. So just private message me and let me know when you complete either your first or your second round. And we have a certificate for you for that. We have a total of 4 certificates in all, which represents a year of study. However, we hope that you stay in here for life because you get it deeper and you learn it better for your own depth, and then to be able to train your team on this too. So take this back to your team. Train them. Take really good notes here and take this back to your team and be able to train them, which of course you learn when you teach. That's when you really learn something. Now, Jeff has personally recruited over 500 people frontline, built 2 teams of over 5,000, and his teams have produced over 10 million in sales. So he speaks from this beautiful, beautiful experience, which is deeper than mine, although I was a full-time network marketer for years as well. And I specialize even more than the skills. I specialize in the mindset as a body-mind therapist because I help people get past stuck places, and I'm leading people right now through mindset clearing. So we both coach, and you could message either of us if you'd like our private help. The 10 core commitments. Again, this is a generic training for all levels, whether you're starting or long time, whether you're moving or stuck, whether your focus is customers or sponsoring people or leadership. This gives you the foundation that you need, and this is where you can connect with people, interact, have fun, and stay on track. The 10 core commitments are getting started right, be here a year from now, personal development, market daily, present daily, attend a weekly presentation, attend a weekly core training, which you're doing right now tonight, attend a monthly regional, which is what we're going to, attend a monthly regional. We covered that last week, and tonight is attend all company conventions, which we're going to go deep into that tonight. And then the 10th one is to have a monthly action plan, a map. So these include, as you can see, the mindset and the skills as we go over them. And yeah, we will turn it over to Jeff now for your part.
Okay, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
That's all verb. Is it coming in clear? Okay, fantastic, guys. So, Bess just went over a lot of what we do. When we first talked, the idea was that we were going to put something together that was going to be able to help out. And here's the, one of the main reasons why is I've gotten really frustrated and upset and mad that a lot of the teaching inside of the industry is not necessarily to help the new person succeed. It's more sales training on why to stay in, why to keep buying the product, why to come to our event, why to do this, why to do that. But it's not actually teaching how to build a business, which I always thought was kind of funny, sitting in some of these meetings and listening to these leaders talk about, what they're trying to promote. And I always say follow the money. That's the easiest thing, if you want to know, what's going on inside of an industry, what's going on inside of a company, what's going on inside of an agenda. Follow the money. Where is the money going? And that will pretty much tell you in most cases what's going on. Don't follow, and we, both Bess and I say is if our training conflicts with something that you hear in your business, obviously, we're not showing up at your house Tuesday night to your open house. We're not showing up to your training. We're not showing up to your home meeting unless obviously you've hired us to do so. I have done that for people. So, we want to help out and give you the information that will allow you to build the business free of bad training, free of, the wrong training, free of anything that's manipulative. We want you to be able to control and build what you're doing. And what I found is these lessons are so simple. They're really easy to do, but they're so simple, they're really easy not to do. A lot of people are like, oh, that's too easy. I'd sit down and have a conversation with people like, oh, that stuff, that's too easy. I want to know the details. I want to build a funnel system. I need some high-end internet marketing. I want high conversion rate. I want to do A/B testing. And I was like, great, you just lost 99.9% of all the people on your team. And the reason I say that is because most people are not technical. Most people are not going to put in hours and hours and hours to learn how to do a landing page, or hours and hours and hours to learn how to build a funnel, or hours. And people are like, oh, but we've got this automated system. I'm like, great. How many leads have you converted? They're like, 0. I'm still learning it. And I'm like, point proven. Thank you so much. How long you been in? 6 months. I'm like, and how many leads do you have? 0. I'm like, that is exactly my point. So what I wanted to do is hand people kind of a set of instructions that was so stupidly easy that you don't need any technical stuff. You don't have to have a website or a landing page or a separate .com. You don't need to have, any extras out there. You just need to be you, only you, polished is what I, what I was taught, because there's a diamond version of all of us. And, a diamond being the hardest known stone out there that I know of. So that's kind of what we're trying to get people to, is that polished piece. And everybody has that polished piece underneath the layers of crap, is kind of the way that it was explained to me. Underneath our bad self-esteem, underneath our bad habits, underneath some of these things that we do wrong, there is this polished, amazing stone there. What we have to do is we have to refine it and define it and move, these other things that aren't so nice out of the way. And if we can move those things that aren't so nice out of the way, and we can overcome some of that, and we can straighten some of the mindset stuff out, then that's why this is so powerful. The first thing is just getting people started the right way. And the way that I say it is, you know, you need to make it so simple and so duplicatable that I can teach you how to do it in 30 minutes. 30, maybe 45 minutes. 45 minutes, 15 minutes to get to know who somebody is and say, hey, here's the whole training. We need to show you how to talk to people, because what we found is the videos aren't working. Why are they not working? Well, because people are so caught up in today's, you know, internet-based, Facebook-based, application-based society that there's so much noise coming at people. You can't get somebody to sit and watch a 3-minute, let alone a 45-minute presentation in most cases. Especially when you come at them with some of the ridiculous things that people are told to say. And, you know, I've recently gotten contacted by 3 or 4 different companies. I do kind of weekly get the call of the week is what I call it, or, you know, the 14 calls of the week of the newest, greatest thing that's coming out in the industry. I evaluate a lot of these companies. For those of you who don't know, I'll sit down. If a friend of mine asks me, just like anybody on here would ask me, hey, what do you think of this? What I do is I break down the company's comp plan. I break down how long they've been around. I find out who's backing it. I find out how much work it's going to take to actually produce a check, which a lot of people don't tend to research their company enough to understand that. You know, and I don't care that somebody's made 6 gazillion, billion, trillion aluminum foil dollars and they're a diamond, pumpkin, you know, apricot, you know, whatever level. Like, that doesn't impress me. I don't care how many cars people have. What I do is I look at what does it take for the newest person to get paid? What does it take for the newest person? A person with no influence, a person with no background. You know, how long will it take that person to succeed? And when I look at the numbers and I break down the comp plan and I say, okay, this is what it takes, then I can compare it against 25 to 30 other companies and say, what are the likelihood of this person living in Kansas, living in Indiana, living in Colorado, living in Michigan? What is the likelihood of this person succeeding in this? You know, after the hype is gone, because the person who makes all that money typically isn't flying in to help you build your business. It's great that they've already made a lot of money. But when you hear the story behind the story about how they got there, most of the time, most people don't like those stories. They don't like the true, honest story of how those people got there. They like the version of they just came and it just worked out for them. And I say that because sometimes there are a lot of stories in the business about how people got started and how fast that they forget to tell you that that person had been in 4 other companies. They forget to tell you that that person had been the head of some chamber or the head of some board, or they transfer the people who were their employees into their company. What I wanted to basically learn how to do was how to start fresh, how to start new, with no influence, no background, a school teacher, a banker, a grocery store attendant, the gas station attendant coming straight out of school, and the CEO. We all have the same ability to succeed in the industry, and that was real simple. You made a list of 10 people, and you introduced the business. I come from an education background. Do I know how to sell and convince? Yes. I've been taught by some of the most manipulative people I can possibly imagine out there. Scary manipulative, where they could literally sell you. They could take your mortgage from you. They know how to do that, and I've seen that in real estate before. That real estate investor guru that comes in and preys upon people and literally takes mortgages out from underneath people and makes people homeless to make money. I've heard that in meetings before. That is absolutely the opposite of what I like doing, what I'm about, because in the end, I want to make sure that what I'm doing is actually helping people. You know, that's why when Bess and I were talking and I said, you know, let's make it $25. And she's like, that doesn't, I mean, in the world of coaching, that doesn't make any sense. She's like, that doesn't even make any sense. I mean, you know, your background with what you've done, with the amount of people you've recruited, with my background, I'm already charging $250 an hour to coach. You're charging $250 an hour to coach. Why in the world would you make it $25? I said, because it needs to get out there. There has to be, here's the other thing, there has to be some cost on it. Because where there is no cost, there is no value. And that would be a good one to write down. Because when somebody challenges you on the cost of anything in your business, basically just say that to them. You know, what I found is where there is no cost, there is no value. And just watch their face go, yeah, that's kind of true. I said, if it was free, nobody would come. Once it costs money, there is some value. But here's the thing. The actual price tag of what we're doing should be about $500 an hour, because Bess and I are training here. Both of us charge, what we charge, but it just made more sense to make it what? 25 bucks. Why? Because it's so simple, it's so easy that I know anybody could afford it, especially the new people. If you're new and you haven't made any money in the industry, you just want to know how this works. And it's like, I'd be willing to pay $25 just to find out if this information is valid, if it's good. And what typically we get feedback back is, this was worth way more than $25, which accomplished our goal of providing more value than what it actually costs. And I hear that again and again from different people. Second, after I get somebody started, I show them basically how to introduce the program to me. I want people to introduce 10 people, and let's just say if I'm the person presenting on, I'm just making the example, like if I was in your business and I was the upline, what I'd want to do is I'd want you to make the list of 10 people. You contact them with the favor script. Do me a favor. I want to introduce to you what I'm working on outside of my work. It's matter of fact. There's not a lot of hype to it. You don't have to be crazy excited. You don't have to, talk about somebody that drives a Ferrari or lives in a mansion or, owns a plane. It's just, hey, I want to tell you about what I'm working on outside of my work. So if you run into the right person, you can refer them to me. And most people are like, okay, cool. No objections. No, is this a pyramid? No, how much does it cost to get in? No, and that's why I don't tell my story up front about how much I love my product. Look at my product. Look, my light bill went down and my gasoline in my car, my car runs better and I'm getting more miles per gallon. My cat jumps higher. Look, I've got the statistic. My daughter is growing faster and getting better grades in school. The carpet's cleaner. I don't go into all of these crazy benefits, because all you're doing is literally handing people the ammunition to fire back at you with, I'm not interested. My goal isn't to make them interested in my product. My goal is to tell them what I do, so if they ran into somebody, they could refer them to me. And I want to tell as many people as possible. Whoever shows, it's basically whoever presents the most wins. That's who wins, whoever presents the most. So if you're not as skilled a presenter, but you present more than the skilled presenter, you can beat the salesperson. You can beat the influencer. You can beat the person that knew everybody up front. Why? Because you can simply outwork them, which gave the newest person a massive advantage in this industry. And here's the thing. The more times you present, the better presenter you get. And I've seen people that when they start, they're terrible. When I started presenting, I was not good. I failed speech class, for those of you who don't know. I also failed English twice in school, in high school. I was taking 9th grade freshman English and junior English again in my junior year. So I had failed the first one. So I was taking, I think it was my second semester, I was taking 4 English classes. I was taking 9th grade, first and second, and I was taking the first half of the junior English, and I was taking the second half of junior English. So I had moved out all of my electives to do that. So people think, that certain, and what I'm trying to say is that certain people think you're born with it. Oh, well, you've always been able to do that. No, this is developed. I came from not being good at doing this, but I had a strong desire to figure it out. I wanted to figure it out. When I went to my first event and I saw people speak on stage, I was like, oh, wow, I'd really like to learn how to do that. When I was 17 and I was locked up in a stress center for 30 days, when I got out, my grandmother actually handed me the Tony Robbins Unlimited Power tapes, which I've got to find online again and buy. I've got to buy the original set because those tapes, that was the first time I heard personal development. And I was like, I don't know what that guy does, but I want to do that. Like, I didn't know it was a profession. I didn't know it was something you could do for a living, but I was like, I don't even know what it's called. I want to do what he did. It was the first person that really affected me. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is the first person I've ever heard who thinks like I do. Like, I saw movies and shows that kind of made sense, but this just totally blew me away. So Our goal is to educate people. Our goal is to get the information in front of people. Our goal is to get the information in front of people without the objection. So if they would run into somebody, they could refer us. So if we come at them manipulative, if we come at them with another objective outside of telling them what we do and educating them, and we're trying to swindle, belittle, bewindle, all those other Windows words, we're trying to lie to them to get them in front of the program to then sell them and hard close them. Here's what I know. That person will never refer you. And the test of a great system is how many referrals you get. That was, from one of my mentors. He's like, the true test of how well your presentation and your sales cycle goes and how good of a person you are, how many referrals are you getting? And I'll ask that, well, how many referrals do you get? None. I was like, then there's something wrong. You've been in your business for 4 years. You've sponsored a handful of people, and you've never gotten a referral. There's something wrong with what you're doing. Now, I don't tell them that right off the bat. I'm like, hey, it sounds great. I'm glad you have a half a dozen people still involved. But I know that there's something wrong, which leads us to part 2. And part 2 of this is, just staying around long enough to hear what you need to hear and polish off those sides so you can become that diamond in the industry. And I'm not talking about a level in your company diamond. I'm just talking about a diamond, a diamond kind of a person where you're polished enough where people see you. Watch this. People see the beauty in what you do, but they also know how resilient you are, because, diamonds are resilient. They can cut glass. You can take a diamond out and scrap. I wouldn't suggest it, but you can take a diamond and scrape it across the concrete. It will damage the concrete without damaging the rock, the diamond. And I'm not saying you should do that to test it out. I'm just saying that's the theory of how this works. And that's what you want to be. You want to be that super strong person, but from the outside, there's a beauty to what you do, and you reflect, right? That's what diamonds are known for. They're known for reflecting the light. They're also known for reflecting the BS. So that's the kind of person you're trying to become, so that stick and stay attitude. Now, how do you get that? You stay in long enough, and that's where the third part comes in, which is the personal development side. Many people have said that our industry is nothing more than personal development wrapped around a product and service and comp plan. That's really what direct sales is we're developing people. And the better, the best trained team wins, the more developed team wins. So if you don't have a set schedule, set cycle, and somebody to train you on some of the basic stuff, then what I've found is people just drift and bounce from thing to thing to thing, and they never figure out how to do it. You have 2 unread messages. Awesome. So that leads us to the fourth thing, which is you have to market what you do every day. The marketing part is really simple. Do me a favor. That's the external marketing. External marketing, I meet somebody on Facebook. I get to know who they are. I said, hey, I need a huge favor. I want to show you what I do outside of my normal job. So if you'd ever happen to run into the right person, you could refer me. You could do that by doing a Facebook Live every single day. That is marketing to the external. Then there's marketing to the internal. The internal marketing is people you've already shown the business to, and you're staying in touch with them and building rapport. And you're staying in front of them and building a relationship. Watch this. Even if you're not talking to them every day, but you're doing a Facebook Live, and you're sending out a personal development quote, or you're sending out something positive every day, you are building relationships with people you don't even know, especially now with Facebook and LinkedIn and what's the other one? Instagram, somewhat in Pinterest. I don't know that much about Snapchat, but I know you can do it in Snapchat. The point is when people see what messages you're putting out on a daily basis, you are building a relationship with them, because every time you put out something that hits a chord with them, positive or negative, you're either building a relationship and drawing people to you, or you're repelling them. Congratulations to some of you for doing the right things. Warning to some of you for the wrong things. If your comments are negative and consistently negative and consistently I hate, or here's who you should hate, or here's what you should hate, and I'm not just talking about politics, Although that is a huge subject right now that people think they feel the need to share what they think. Well, let me tell you this. I want people from both sides on my team. Why? Because that's about a 50-50 split, right? So do you want to offend 50% of the people and not have those people on your team? You know, some people don't. Some people, I don't want any of those people on my team. Okay, then automatically you're leveling out 50%. But watch this. When you go around the world and your business is like that, you will have to deal with people who do not believe what you believe, who do not like what you like, who do not care about what you care about in general. You know, sometimes it's specific stuff, sometimes it's outside things. Do you want a worldwide organization, or do you want your two people in? That's it. Positive or negative? The widest net possible or the smallest way? Do you think Apple sits down and goes, you know what, we're going to offend everybody in this one particular category and we don't want any of those people buying our phones? I will tell you that the stockholders, the shareholders, the major shareholders would have a meeting with Apple really quick if that would happen. Now, certain companies are choosing sides too. And I've seen this, I don't know if anybody else has seen this, I've seen certain companies choose certain sides and go bankrupt like that, you know, because they offended a big portion that they didn't count on, and they're like, whoops, I guess that just cost us 8%. As soon as the 8% goes, the rest of the investors start pulling out, and they're like, yeah, we screwed up really bad, and then they're basically having to apologize. So my point is if you keep it positive and keep it away from that stuff, you will attract a greater group of people, and you'll probably have a better life. That's just my own personal opinion. But if you focus continuously on what you dislike, you will get more of it. And people who dislike it will send you more stuff to dislike. And it doesn't matter. I mean, it can be anything, right? So I dislike Monday, by the way. But Monday's coming anyway. I'm just kidding. I had a couple people, they're like, I dislike Monday. I hate Monday. How do I get out of Monday? I'm like, just build a business and then take every Monday off. And the person's like, yeah, I guess that'd be nice for, you know, the people. I said, well, you know, there's about 10 million small business owners. If there's 10 million people who have figured it out, are you saying you're so stupid you can't figure it out too? I didn't say that, but I wanted to. I said something much nicer. I was like, well, keep looking. So that's 4. Number 5 is present daily. I think that speaks for itself. If we're an education industry, you need to educate somebody every day on what you do. If you just stuck to that, just educate one person a day, even if you did it all wrong in the beginning, the likelihood of doing it wrong consistently for a year and not finding anybody, I would say the odds would be, I mean, so astronomical that you wouldn't find. I mean, you could literally go to the unemployment line every single day, present to somebody, and you're going to find somebody that goes home and talks to their brother and is like, man, I just saw somebody and met somebody in line at the unemployment line, and this person has a business. I'm not interested. I don't even have the money to get started, but you would be good. You need to go talk to him. And you'd get a referral. You'd get a referral. You'd sign. Actually, some people would sign more people up doing it that way. And here's the thing. What kind of technology does it take? 0. What kind of landing page does it take? 0. What kind of app on your phone do you have to do that? 0. What kind of cell phone service do you need? 0. What kind of fancy video do you have to send them? None. Just presenting. And here's the thing. Do you have to take your product with you and smother it all over them, have them drink it, have them put it on? No. No. Why? Because I've found that more people are looking for an opportunity than they are a product or service. That's the main thing that we market, is we market opportunity. We market the opportunity to make more than what you're doing now. We offer the opportunity to make part-time money. We offer the opportunity to work the hours you want to work. We have the opportunity to work with who we want to work with, because some of us, we're in a job where we have to work with people that we don't like. And we have to work with stress we don't enjoy. So what we really market is the ability, wouldn't you like to make, I mean, imagine making the same amount of money you make now, but you don't have to deal with any of that. Oh my gosh, that'd be so great. Imagine making the same money you make now, but you work 10 hours more, but you don't have to deal with any of those people. Done. Sign me up. We market opportunity. So if you're wondering what we really market inside the industry is we market that opportunity. Now, we do it through amazing products. We do it through amazing services. And I've just found, watch this, I've just found that people who have made the most money in the industry consistently, they market that opportunity. And they introduce it through these amazing products. Which leads us to part number 6, which is the open house. We get people to the open house to see the bigger picture. So after we do our 10-minute presentation, understand it's the contact, that 10-minute presentation. The 10-minute presentation leads to the bigger event. Or if you don't have that kind of influence, it leads to a third-party call or a third-party tool that leads them to the bigger event. Does that make sense? So the third-party tool is, you know, oh, you want some more information because you did kind of spark an interest on our product, or you did spark an interest on the opportunity, you sparked an interest on both. You know, would it be okay if I sent you some information that goes over all that? That's not me. Sure. Well, I could get you on the phone with a good friend of mine that does really well to answer that, or I could send you a video. Which one's more convenient for you? Which one would you rather? Now, I would always rather put a live person on the phone if I can. That's where I started doing the third-party text. Third-party text. I said, look, I've got this amazing person. I'll do both. Watch, I tag team this. I said, I'll do both. I'll get you the video over right away, but I really want to introduce you. Now that you've told me that you have some interest, I really want to introduce you to this good friend of mine that I work with. What I'm going to do is I'm texting them right now. I'm not asking them permission. I didn't say, do you want to talk to my friend? I didn't say that. I said, I want to introduce you to my friend. And I would, you know, and just because, you know, Jim and Bess are on here, if I was working and talking to Bess and Jim happened to be the upline of mine, what I would do is I say, Bess, what I want to do is I really want you to meet this good friend of mine, Jim, that's in Colorado, that, you know, has been working with our company, that's doing really well. He has an amazing business that he works with bees outside. So because I know Bess is into natural things, I said he has, you know, an organic bee farm. And he can tell you all about that, but I really want to introduce, I want to connect the two of you because I think this would be, you know, first of all, cool for you guys to know each other. And second of all, he can answer more of the questions on the product line. And I would third-party text right there. Boom, I'd send it out. And here's what the text would say. Jim, I just spoke to a friend of mine, or I just spoke to Bess, who I met through, or I've been friends with for 10 years. I'm telling Jim how I know Bess. And Bess, this is Jim, a really good friend of mine who's very successful in what we do. I'd love for you guys to connect. That's it. Jim takes over. Jim now sends a text back and says, hi, Bess, how are you? Great that you met Jeff. You know, do you have a couple minutes to talk? Do you see how all of a sudden I'm doing third party, like I'm getting more stuff done? Because as soon as I send that text and I say, hey, Bess, we had a great conversation, I'm going to send you over those videos so you can watch them. Boom, I'm done off the phone. I can go present again. I can go outside. I don't have to pick up the phone and then I'm waiting to see if Jim's available, and then Jim has another call from another person coming in, and then I have to call him back. Okay, wait 10 minutes. Bess, if you could just wait 10 minutes. That's where you lose so many people, because so many people are like, I don't have time for this. This is stupid. And it's so outside the, watch this, it's outside the norm of how normal people communicate. That's not normal. And so many people are living in 1993. Just because you learned this in 1993, and it still does work to some degree, is it the best thing to do? No, it's past that point. Here's the thing. I can set up 10 three-way calls in one day. Most people can't take 10 incoming three-way calls. So every time I'm having a conversation with somebody now, I can now third-party text the person that I'm working directly with and be like, hey, blah, 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 blah. This is so-and-so. I just talked to about this. You know, here's their phone number. I'd love to be able to connect the two of you. And then, boom, I let them go have the conversation. Who's going to have more of an impact now? I have all my time back, and now the upline, think about this, your support team now isn't set to a certain schedule. Now watch this. It also tells on them, because if they don't, if I don't see them contact back, I'm just going to use you as an example, Jim, not that you'd ever do this, but if Jim doesn't contact Bess back, I can see it on my phone. Hey, did you get a hold of Bess? Oh, no, I forgot. I had something go on. And I've had team members do that. Everybody gets a screw up. Hey, you messed, no problem. But if you do it twice, I'm never using you again for third party. That's how I do it. Because this is a business. This involves money. To a lot of people, the big reason is it doesn't involve money because you haven't made anything yet. You know, and you're not going to make stuff until you start doing some of the stuff that works. It's amazing. When you do the stuff that works, the money comes easily, like really easily. I was amazed. Like, once I got this down, I went from not making any money at all in the industry. Like, I worked for a year, and my first check was $9.80. I actually showed it to Bess. I had a picture of it, and I think did I put that in the Millionaire Club? I should put that check. It's funny. 1993, I think, is when it's from. A little while ago. $9.80, crushing it in the business after months of presenting. We had sold like $7,000 worth of stuff. You know, I had gone to 4 conventions. I'd been to every seminar. I'd been to every open house. $9.80. Profitable, no, but belief, yes. It was belief. I was like, okay, this could work. You know, all I need to do is do what I just did 1,000 more times, at least. And then I could make $18. No, I'm kidding. I would have made a lot more. I did end up going to get some, I can't say sizable checks now because I guess it's all in comparison. But for the industry, it was kind of cool. You know, when you can break $100 or a couple $100 in a month, that's actually, you know, what you have to do is you have to break the cost of entry and what it costs to be in the business, because what you'll do is you'll run into those number crunching kind of people, and they'll be like, it costs this much to get in, it costs this much a month for the website, it costs this much a month for the auto ship, it costs this much a month for your meetings, and it costs this much a month for your conventions. So they can tally, watch this, some people can tally that in their head like that. There's a small percentage, about 17%, they can tally all that up in their head. And then you're like, yeah, my first month I made $200. And they're like, great, you're only negative $600. I'm not interested. But they don't say it like that. They say, yeah, this just doesn't, they'll say, it doesn't add up to me. I just don't, it just doesn't, no. So what you have to do is you have to, when you're presenting, you have to know that there are 4 personality types. And you have to know, watch this, eventually you have to know who you're talking to. And I don't mean know who you're talking to like where they went to school. You have to know what their personality is. Watch this. What are they attracted to and what are they scared of? If you know those 2 things, you can basically move people in the right direction pretty easily. Now, it doesn't mean manipulate them and because of you want. It just means you know how to present it in a way where they will be able to get the right information. That leads to the training. If we can get them to an event where they're like, okay, I like this, then they're going to have questions. They're like, I like it. I like some of the people, but I don't think I can do this. You know what? You really need to go to a training. And here's what I used to do. I was like, look, if you go to one training, I'll never ask you to go to another one again. I just want you to come once. If you come once and you see how it works and you don't like it and you don't think you can do it, oh, good. I'm okay with that. But I want you to come once, and I would like you to come this week rather than next week or 2 weeks from now, because I know the law of diminishing intent. Have you ever heard of the law of diminishing intent? The law of diminishing intent says the longer you put something off, the least likely you'll do it. Which is why so many of us have projects sitting in our garage that we were going to do. Right, Jim? You have any of those? Like, I have an office full of them, right? The law of diminishing intent. The longer it takes to get started on something, the more likely we're not going to do it. So that leads us to the regional. The regional is a higher level. So this goes from I don't know how to do it, which is the training, to I don't believe I can do it. I just don't know if I can believe. Come to this regional. Come to this regional. What I've found is the people who have made it in the business, they weren't the people who you thought could make it. There's very few people who enter the business that thinks, I could do this. I mean, I think we listened to Lisa the other night. She was like, I could do this. These people are dumber, uglier, and slower than we are. We could knock this out. And then she got in and couldn't do it, and she was like, okay, then she's twiddling her thumb, she's backpedaling, going, now I have to do it because I told a bunch of people that this was simple and easy, and now I can't do it. I've got to do it now because I can't leave. I can't leave and quit and let all these people know that it beat me. I've got to do it. So sometimes it's good to have, those ego people get in. Well, why? It's just so hard. You can't do it. I've challenged some people like that. It's funny. They have all kinds of great excuses. Well, I just don't like it because it's my. I said, you don't like it because it tells the truth on you. You don't like it because there's no title to hide behind. There's no staff to hide behind. It's just you. And that's what I really love about direct sales is there's nothing to hide behind. So I get them to a regional, and what regionals do is they build belief long enough for you to make your own choices to change what you need to change. That's basically what they do. So it's a cycle of getting people in and getting their energy level up high enough, their belief level up high enough to stay in long enough to figure out and make these changes. Because watch, once you make the changes and you start doing the right stuff, this happens it actually happens very quickly. It takes forever to get to the point of, I know what to do. I know how to do it. And now I'm going to do it on a consistent basis. Like, it takes forever to get there. Some people, it takes years. It took me years. But once I got it, I could build like that. People are like, well, I want to get to $1,000. It took me a week to get to $1,000. Well, I want to get to $2,000. It took me 2 weeks to get to $2,000. Well, I want to get to $3,000. It took me 3 weeks to get to $3,000. The fourth week, I didn't hit $4,000. I hit $5,000. Why? Because we had so much momentum behind us. You want to recruit 20 people in 30 days? I say do 20 people in 2 weeks. Because then you end up with about 30-some people in the first 30 days. And here's the thing. You could do that once for the entire year and make more money than most people ever do in the business. But if you don't know the cycle to take them through, the pattern to take them through to start with, you don't end up with the result you want. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is from the regional, is the convention. That's what we're going to talk about in the second half. From there, we go to the MAP, the Massive Action Plan. Every single month, you should set an action plan on what to do with each one of these. You should know where in the business you are to be able to start out each month before the month begins. You plan the month before the month begins. You plan the week before the week begins. You plan the year before the year begins. And you want to plan the day before the day begins. Because if you're not planning these things in advance, what happens is you're just basically running your life on what? On circumstances. Whatever the circumstances are that day, that's how I run my life. And that's how most people run their life. That's why most people never get anywhere. Because they're, I'd really like to make more money. What are you doing today? Well, I didn't know, and I woke up, and, I sat down in my chair, and my chair was squeaky, so then I went into the garage to get some oil to fix the squeaky chair, because I had an intent to make calls, and then I realized I was out of oil, so I went to the store, and then I was hungry, and, I came back, and I realized I didn't have any eggs, so I went to another store, and then I got eggs, and I came back, and I was like, well, it's too late, so I'm going to order a pizza, and then Lost was on, and then I watched Lord of the Rings, and here it is 9 o'clock, and now it's too late to call people, and there's a day. Just like that. It was all circumstances. And here's the thing. The reason I'm so easily making fun of that is because that sounded like my life for like a decade. And really, I was just avoiding doing the work. I knew what to do. I just was avoiding doing the work because of belief, because of focus, because of wanting it bad enough and wanting to do it. Eventually, I just got mad. I was involved in this room of people, and I kept seeing people come from this room into the next room. The next room was the level up, like they had a level up meeting. Well, in one company it was called a go-getter meeting. In another company it was silvers and above. In another company, I can't remember what it was. But all of a sudden these people started leaving the room and they were going to the leadership room. And I was like, well, if that's the leadership room and these are the new people and I've been here forever and I'm not getting to the leadership room, I'm sitting in the loser lobby, basically. I'm like, what am I doing? And I got mad. So it's funny, like the leadership that taught me, they said, you will either get inspired enough to come over here or you'll get mad enough. I work through anger. I don't know why. Anger is just like a really, really, I think it's part of my personality. In fact, now that I've done the personality training, I know it's part of my personality. Anger actually motivates me. Conflict motivates me. So if somebody says you can't, I want to. Well, you can't make $1 million in that company. I want to. I'm like, well, I'm going to show you how to do it. That's not always a great trait to have, but it just helped me get to where I wanted to go. Some people are going to want to do it because of the relationship. Some people are going to want to do it because all the excitement and fun is in the other room at the higher level. So with that, that's kind of the first part of this. So we're at 9:54. We're going to spend the last part of this call all about big conventions, how to get there, why to get there, what you're trying to accomplish with these big conventions. But right now I want to turn it back over to Bess, get her some insight on this. And
I just unmuted myself. Okay. So thanks, Jeff. I always have a lot to think about. There's so much room for me to grow. I just want to put out this image to all of us that we can change overnight. It just takes stepping across the line into commitment. I do know a lot of people that say, I am ready to go full-time, I'm really ready for success, and then I say, well, how many presentations have you done today? And then I don't hear. So it just takes stepping across that line. Perhaps it's like saying 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off, and just go and do it. You can step into commitment right away. It might not take that 5 years to grow. People have done that. But if it does take that foundational time, okay, so be it. Better 5 years than not at all. So I call it the law of assumption, just stepping into the commitment right now, and try that on and say, how would that feel? Let my actions demonstrate that, the commitment. How does a successful person act? Or would I hire me if I was an employee? Or would I sponsor somebody like me? Would I hire somebody like me? Am I the type of person that I would like to sponsor? And then see what those character traits, qualities, actions, mindset would be, and step into that. We are going to have a question and answer session at about 9:30 my time, Central Time, 10:30. Yeah, 10:30 Eastern Time. So we will have questions and answers. That's the time that you can ask questions, get coached by us. And just to underline what Jeff said about his research about companies, I have sent clients to Jeff to save their time building in the wrong company for them, or building in a company that might have some pitfalls that we didn't see. I'm not good at analyzing companies. Thank goodness Jeff is. I feel so good having him here to send people to analyze these and give their feedback for them. So if any of you take advantage of that, it could be well worth. If you're gonna build deep and invest years building a company, building your future, wouldn't it be worth a coaching session with him to evaluate where you're going, that it will be worth it before you build. So also want to say hi, welcome to Lisa and whoever's joined us from 872. I'm not sure who that is, but the new people that have popped on, we welcome you. I do have a bit to share about attending company conventions, but right now I'll go back to Jeff and I'll share that when it's time for that.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay, guys, so the first note about big conventions is write this number down. This was one of the first things I learned. They said for every single person you get to attend a big convention, a national convention or a company convention, we're talking about a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you can basically average $1,000 in commissions that you would earn from this particular individual. That organization, whoever they represent. Now, it might not come directly from them. It might be because they stayed in long enough and they'll go recruit the guy out of that convention, but about $1,000 per person. So I knew when I had 54 people at a convention, my income was right around 60 grand. When I had 20 people or 28 people, my income was right around 30,000. It was like 29.9. And I started looking back at these numbers, and I was like, man, this is incredible. So I started asking, some of my friends who had hit six figures. I was like, hey, Todd, what exactly was your income? How many people did you have at the event prior to hitting six figures? He's like 116. I asked another person, I was like, how many people did you have at your event? They were like 96. I was like, so you crossed 6 figures right after that? Yep. I remember in particular this one particular friend of ours that he basically was selling tickets to get people on the bus from LA out to Las Vegas in this one particular company for the national convention. He was just piling people in, and he got to 68 people, and he was like, that's all I can get. I guess I'm not going to hit 6 figures. And him and another guy that last week is like, here, this is real simple. What we're going to do is we're going to go through the 68 people who are already on the bus. We're going to go through and see if we can get somebody, one of them, to bring their best friend with them. You've got to have a friend that wants to go have a fun weekend, and they went from 68 to 98. He got a couple more people, boom, he goes across the stage, about 6 months later, 6 figures. So there's a wave that you have to create. So here's basically what that wave looks like. If this is 90 days, here's what happens. That line basically doesn't move during that 90 days. You're doing all the right activity, you're showing up, you're saying things, and what people have to do is it takes a while for people to basically believe that and you're going to make it regardless. So you have to be consistent the first 15 days, the first 20 days, the first 30 days. At the end of 30 days, you'll be upset because you're like, this is more work than I've done ever, and there's no result that I'm seeing. And, it's the classic thing that you see people do in the industry. Well, when the fire gives me heat, I'll give it wood. Doesn't work like that. How do you build the fire so hot that it'll burn regardless if you keep putting stuff there? You have to keep adding fuel to the fire. Keep adding, keep adding, keep adding. And it seems like, how fast does a fire usually take off? And we're talking about a campfire, by the way. Some people are like, well, my oven starts right away. We're not talking about your oven. We're talking about a campfire. If you've ever built a campfire. And can you build a campfire anyway and make it work? No. If it's not set up the right way with the right air, sometimes it'll go out again and again and again until you build it the right way. But if you do build it the right way, you can get those embers so hot that it's really, in some cases, it's hard to put them all out. But it takes forever. You keep building, keep building. So 30 days goes by. 60 days goes by. And it starts to creep up. And you're like, this is stupid. You'll feel this way. This is dumb. I've worked so hard. I've shown 50, 60, 70, 100 people. I've never done that in a year's time. Now I've done it in a small amount of time, and I've done all this work, and I have like 3 people who are in. This is dumb. I don't understand. 10 days into the 3rd month, all of a sudden the needle starts rising, and you'll go from never signing up more than a person a week to all of a sudden signing up 3 people in one day. And here's what I can tell you this because it works like this every time. 95% of the work of that month, so if you calculate it out 90 days, you're basically just backing up 6 days. 95%, it'll seem like nothing's happened in the last 6 days. Some kind of magical, mystical, genie-like, prayer-based, religious, I don't know. I've seen it happen again and again and again to different people. All of a sudden, that needle goes from rising to straight up. All of a sudden, it's like 3 people get in, 3 people get in, 3 people get in, 5 people get in. And you're like, how is this even possible for this person? This doesn't even make sense. But what happened is that belief kept building and kept building and kept building. And eventually, it was like one person goes and then another person. It's almost like in basketball, you can get hot where it's like it doesn't matter. Everything you throw up goes in. And you've seen like teams do this if you've ever watched football, or if you've ever watched baseball, or you've ever watched basketball, or if you've ever watched soccer. It seems like momentum. It takes forever to get the momentum. But once the momentum shifts, it's almost like you can't get beat. You just keep going. The biggest problem is that most people will run like this and they'll quit 65 days in. 70 days in, they're like, this is stupid. I'm not where I need to do. This doesn't work. See, I told you. And it's almost like you're telling the world, I don't believe. And the world's like, okay, cool. We'll just throw some water on that, and that fire's out, and you're good to go. So getting people. Here's kind of when I'm getting ready for an event, big event, the very first thing I do is I list out all the potential people initially, the potential people who are committed, who need to go, and I kind of list them in order. Okay, so this is the leadership. These guys, and when you're first doing this, your first goal is one extra person. You want you and somebody else to go. That's your initial goal. If you can get 2 or 3, great. initially bring one, or what we say is fill a room. So if you're going on a trip, it's another couple, or, I was a single guy, so I had the ability to bring single guys. Or, I had a lot of women on my team because of the kind of business we were doing in real estate. There was a lot of women there. So I was like, okay, you two can, is it okay? You two, you'll get one room and both of you. So I make that list of people. And then I kind of look at what are the challenges I'm probably going to run into with each person. I know this person works a job on the weekends. I know this person has a spouse. I know this person has a dog. I know this person has kids. I know what their excuses are going to be before they do. So watch this. I take them away as I call them. I'll give you one. Hey, Bess, our next event is, and this is, part of the promotion. I have laid out exactly what I'm going to say. I know what I'm going to cover. So if I was calling Bess and inviting her out to, let's say, January's big event that we're doing, I would call Bess, and Bess is, one of the people that we work with. I'm just using this as an example, like it was a company that we were at. I'd be like, hey, Bess, how you doing? It's Sunday, great. Hey, I'm just planning ahead. So what am I doing? I'm initially saying I'm planning ahead. What I just told her is I'm thinking forward about the future, and I'm building. I'm leading. I'm not guessing, I'm leading. So I'm already thinking out 60 days out to the event we're going to have about 60 days from now in January. Now, I know the possibility of the weather's going to be bad, so I'm kind of doing this ahead of time to make sure people are ready, because I know Thanksgiving's coming, and then Christmas is coming, and then New Year's is coming. It's going to be just like that. It's going to be January, and we're going to be here. So I'm just kind of planning this out, and I just want to make sure of a couple things. The first thing is that the convention is this date, right? That's the first yes. The convention is this date, right? Yeah, I know the convention's then. Most people who you're going to call in your business know that there's a convention coming up, so they're going to agree with you. And you know that the ticket price right now is less than what it's going to be at the end of the month, right? After the end of the month in December, the ticket price rises. You know that, right? Yeah, I know that. Okay, cool. So I was just looking down here, and I was seeing, who had a ticket, and you haven't bought your ticket, is that correct? Yeah, that's right. I haven't bought my ticket yet. 3 yeses. Well, I just wanted to make sure that not only you knew about it, but you knew that, that they're probably going to do a special on those tickets on Black Friday. And if they do a special on the tickets on Black Friday, are you in a position to take advantage of that? Oh. Because here's the first thing. The first thing I want them to commit to is not to going, it's to buying the ticket. Certain people don't know what they're selling. You're selling the ticket first, because watch this. Where somebody makes a financial investment, they start looking at what? The time and energy and everything else. But they might, if you can get them to make the financial investment, making the rest of the decisions becomes easier. Why? Because they're taking a step forward. I want them to take a step forward. Hey, do you have it written on your calendar? No. Do you have a calendar? I mean, most people that I worked with had a calendar, so because we taught that. Oh, yeah, I have my calendar. Okay, make sure it's on your calendar. Can I text you the dates? Yes. Can I send them to you? Yes. Did you get them? Yes. I got them here. Okay, you put them on my calendar? Yes. Okay, fantastic. Now, have you ever been to a convention that we do? Now, Bess has, but let's say she hasn't. I said, have you ever been to one of these? No. I said, well, it starts Friday, and it's the most amazing time. So I'm going to hit all 4 of the areas that are key. Like when we promote something, just like if you're going to do third party, you want to promote these 4 areas. Oh, my gosh, it's going to be such a great time. It's going to be a lot of fun, right? So I'm hitting the I-type personality. I said, there's going to be the most influential people in the company are going to be there. The people who make the most money. You're going to learn from the dominant people in the industry, the people who are making all the moves. You're going to learn some of the best techniques that are out there on how to build your business solid and stable. And it's just some of the coolest people. You're going to meet some really cool people to hang out with. The after events are so much fun. And any question you've ever wanted to figure out, you're going to be able to have it answered at this event. Like all the facts, all the corporate people, all the number junkies, all the engineers, all the scientists, all the technicians, they're all going to be there. So I hit all 4 personality types. And people are like, wow, this is really detailed to just be able to get somebody to go. Yeah, but if you're planning on building a business that pays for your house payment, how secure do you want this to be? Do you want to guess? Too many people are guessing. If you're just trying to make $100 extra, that's fine. I was wanting to make a house payment. I was wanting to make a car payment. I was wanting to pay the house off. I was wanting no debt. I was wanting more than 6 figures just to be able to save every month. Or I'm sorry, every year. Every month would be cool too, right? I want to pay my taxes and not even think about it. I want to cry when I pay my taxes. I'm like, I've never spent this much money per quarter. I have a friend. He made so much money in the industry. He's like, if you know what you make within 6 figures, you're broke. He's like, the group of friends I'm around, he's like, if you know what you make within 6 figures, he goes, guys, I pay 7 figures quarterly in taxes. That's some extra. He's like, now I have multiple businesses. But he's like, if you know what you pay in taxes within 6 figures, you don't make a lot of money. He's like, so it's just a different level. He's like, I'm not saying that you're unsuccessful in life. I'm just saying financially there's another level to get to. I was like, that is definitely another level. So back to this list. I look at the list. Do you have the dates written down? I text them the dates. Do you have them written down? Yes, yes, yes. Did you know the ticket's on sale? Do you have the ability to take advantage of it? Oh, I don't know. Well, right now the ticket costs, and whatever the ticket costs. I tell them what the ticket costs. So Friday night, it's from this time to this time. Saturday is this time to this time. Sunday is this time to this time. Now, you live in Kansas. It's in Indianapolis. So just, I mean, real quick, would you probably fly or drive? Did I ask if she wants to go? No. I asked if she were going to take the trip, would she fly or drive? You'd be amazed at people who are telling themselves, I'm not going. They're like, well, I would probably drive. Oh, cool. Would you go with somebody or would you try to drive it by yourself? No, I'd probably go with somebody. I was like, well, who would you imagine going with? And they're like, oh, well, the other person that sits in the meeting, Mary, that's who I'd probably ride with. I'm like, man, if I could get Mary to buy a ticket, Bess is going. Why? Because she can already see herself riding with her. So I back up. I say, okay, great. So you don't have your ticket right now. I mean, if they were going to do a discount or something, would you get to the ticket now? I mean, do you have the ability to get the ticket now before Black Friday just to show everybody that you're committed? Because here's the thing. If this is somebody personally that I recruited, I'm like, look, if they did a discount on Black Friday, I'll buy the ticket at the discount. I'll give you the discounted one and the money back, and I'll exchange, the money with you. If it's an extra, if it's $40 off, I'll take the $40 hit. I'll buy your ticket from you. I'll switch tickets with you. I'll give you the $40 if there's a discount if you can get it right now. Why? Because I know. I mean, think about this. If I can get Bess to the convention, and on average, each person you get to the convention is worth $1,000, my question is, this is a math question, would you trade $40 for $1,000? People are like, I never thought of that. I know. That's why I'm telling you right now. This is how a business person would do math. It's imperative that you get people to the events for long-term, sustainable growth. Because once Bess goes to the convention, if Bess goes to the convention and she hears somebody on stage that she absolutely loves in the company and she falls in love with the company culture and the people and what's going on, it doesn't matter what I do after that. I could technically leave the company in some cases and that organization rolls on without me and the income still comes in. Next, I call Mary. I'm going to do the exact same thing with Mary. Mary, hey, how are you? Oh, great. Hey, I'm just calling, and I just need to ask you a quick question. Did you know that the convention is coming up in January? Oh, yeah, I know, Okay, did you know it was this weekend, this day? Oh, yeah, I knew. Okay, did you have it on your calendar already? Have you already put it there? No, I haven't put it. I don't have it on my calendar yet. Okay, well, let me text you the date so you can put it on your calendar. And I rolled through the same thing. If you haven't gotten, now, as far as I know, I'm looking on the chart. You haven't gotten your ticket yet. No. I said, well, if they did a discount on Black Friday, would you have the ability to do it then, knowing that if it was a discount, I mean, if it's 97 right now, what if it was discounted? What if it's 20% off or half off or whatever? I mean, would you be able to get it then? Well, yeah, that'd be I mean, would you get it then? Yeah, I'd probably do that. I said, okay, great. Do you have the ability to do it now? Do you see how I'm backing up? Do you have the ability to do it now? Because if you get it now, I'd give you the discount. I'd find a way to give you whatever they discounted on Black Friday. I'd give you that discount cash if you can get it now. Because what I'm doing is I'm adding I want to know every single person that's going. And I said, well, if you went, would you travel by plane or by car? Well, I'd probably go by car. Well, who would you go with? Well, I'd go with Bess. That's funny. Bess said the exact same thing. Have you guys talked about this yet? Well, we kind of mentioned it in the thing. Yeah, Bess. I just talked to Bess, and Bess said the same thing, that she's thinking about getting her ticket on Black Friday if there's a discount. Oh, wow. So you guys could actually travel together. That's cool. I go to the next person. Hey, guys, it's repetitive. I'm repeating the same thing over and over and over again. But I'm going through and I'm checking off and figuring out. I call Jim. Jim's like, oh, I already have my ticket. Awesome. If Jim already has his ticket, then I'm going to roll through what I call excuses management. Actually, that's a new thing. Best write that down and text it to me because I've never actually said that. But that's really what we were doing, is we go through excuses management. We have to manage all the excuses that can possibly come up, right? The first thing is, well, Jim, how are you getting there? Are you probably flying out? I mean, Colorado, you're probably flying out, right? Yeah, I'm flying out. Okay, cool. What airline? Do you get a discount? Have you ever done, like, those discount airlines, or do you, like, do Southwest where you, like, have a card and build up points and get free points? You'd be amazed at the amount of people I'll ask that, and they're like, you know what? I didn't even think about that. I'd probably have a free flight. Oh, that makes it easier. Good. Now I'm not even talking about money. Yeah, you can get a free flight. If you're going to go book, what I would do is I'd book your ticket on Southwest for safety reasons, right? Because if you need to change, come back early or whatever, how much extra does it cost to change your ticket from Southwest? What kind of fee? There is no fee. There is no fee. How much does it cost to sign up for that program? $0. So go online, get your Southwest, look at tickets. Now here's what I would do. I'd look at a one-way ticket in, one-way ticket back. I'm teaching people how to save money on travel, because most people who don't travel a lot, I'm going to ask Jim, do you travel a lot? He's like, oh yeah, I travel all the time. Good. Do you have discounts and points and miles with any airlines? Because I'm trying to prompt the idea. Maybe he already has a free flight. No, I don't have that. I don't fly a lot. I've just done it a couple times on vacation. And I'm not saying that, Jim, any of this is true. I'm just kind of going through the scenario for people. So I find that out. If that's the case, I'll sign them up and give them the points. And I'll be like, look, every time, if you plan on doing this long term and you're coming to 3-4 events a year and you're going somewhere else on vacation, if you start racking up these points, imagine getting a free flight. I mean, you definitely come out if it was a free flight, right? Oh, yeah, sure. Boom. If your credit's really good, you can go sign up for one of those credit cards and get a free flight right away. Because there's American Airlines that's connected to American Express. There's Citibank that's connected to American Express. There's another one. I just saw the Southwest card, 65,000 points, which is the equivalent of like flying to Hawaii for free once. I'm going to teach people how to travel. Why? Because travel's part of big business. So excuses management. Do you have your ticket? Yes. So you're committed at that level. Do you have your flight? No? Great. That's the next thing to work with. I'm not talking about anything else till that flight's booked. Well, when are you thinking about getting the flight? Have you looked at pricing yet? No, I really haven't looked. Have you ever gone to this app called kayak.com? No, I've never even heard of kayak.com. Well, Kayak has all the discounted airlines. Go on Kayak, put in, would you probably have to come in Friday? I mean, do you have the ability to leave Thursday to be on time Friday? Or are you going to leave out Friday to basically get in when the convention's already started? Do you have the ability to take Friday off work? I don't know. I'm asking. I'm not directing. I'm not telling people what to do. I'm just doing excuses management. The ideal situation is you want to be there Friday when it starts. That's ideal. It doesn't always work like that. Some of the weekend is better than none of the weekend. That's key. Some of the weekend is better than none of the weekend. So after I have their ticket and after I have their airline, then I talk, hey, Jim, do you have your room? Who would you be rooming with? Are you going to do it on your own? Blah, 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 blah. Great. And I'm just saying that, let's just say the event's in Vegas. Well, you know, I know the event's at the MGM. Where are you staying? I want to know how far, like, I'm going to have this down. Oh, okay. Are you going to take a taxi or a cab? Or are you going to, you know, are you going to walk? I'm going to know every detail. Excuses management. Well, hey, just real quick, you know it's pretty expensive to eat out there, right? I would suggest this. Do you like Cliff Bars or this? I would definitely, you know, go to the store if you have the ability and you get there. Take a cab, go to this Walmart that sits out, and I would buy fruit. I would buy this, you know, very specific things. So that way you have snacks along the way. So that way you're not hungry and dying throughout the whole time. Coffee, energy drinks, bottles of water, whatever. I kind of lay it all out because that hotel, I've been to that hotel, and it's $5 for a bottle of water there. Go to Walmart, buy a case for $5, and just have them in the room. Do I really get this detailed? Yes. The one thing we would do, watch this, we got to the point where I want the people to have the best, if the people have the best experience possible, and everybody has food, and everybody has something to drink, and everybody's excited, when you don't have enough money to eat and you're hungry, how's your experience at an event? It's horrible. If you've ever been in that situation, I've been in that situation. I've seen people in that situation. If you don't have the money for a room, I've seen people get convinced to go to conventions. They don't have money to actually stay anywhere. They just like, I'm here. Now what? I don't have any money to eat. I just got convinced to come here. So here's what we would do. When we get to the main location, we'd always get there a day early. In some cases, I borrowed. One time we just stole a friend's van. I'm not saying you should do this, but he was a good friend. And he was just like, hey, where'd all these? I get a text. He's like, dude, where are my keys? I'm like, well, they happen to be in the ignition. Where are you? I was like, well, we stole your van, and we're on our way to Walmart. Do you need anything? And he's like, dude, what the? I was like, look, you did. I said, you didn't respond back to our text. You didn't. We have a certain amount of time to go get all this stuff. I told you earlier. You told me you wanted to go get all this stuff. What do you need? We'll just pick it up for you. So I took 6 people to the Walmart. I can't remember if we were in Vegas or Dallas. I think it was Vegas. And we were at Walmart at midnight. We went in. We bought, watch this, bottles of water. We bought peanut butter and jelly. We bought Cliff Bars. There was like, we bought a thing of bananas. I mean, it looked like we were like, somebody actually, one of the ladies asked us if we were like going on safari or something because it looked like a safari package. And basically we had, I said, can we just grab like a whole stack of these plastic bags? She's like, yeah, why? I'm like, we're going to divvy it up. So we got back, and we divvied it up for each room. You know, here's a case of water, and here's this. And we just walked by, knocked on the door, and just threw everything in the room. Like, hey, we got a lot to do. We just want to get this to you. We got to get to an event. Everybody had food. Everybody had water. People, here's the thing. People still talk about that 10 years later. You know, it was just something we came up with because I realized, and it was funny because I actually read it from a military book. It was actually a military book that I was reading, and they talked about advancing. Now, I've never been in the military, but I have a lot of friends who have. If you're looking to advance an entire group of people, the reason why most armies lost in the past, I'm talking about history-wise, is because they didn't have supplies. They ran out of supplies. They ran out of food. They ran out of water. They ran out of clean stuff. They ran out of bullets, which obviously is pretty important if you're in war. They ran out of ammunition. They ran out of food. If you run out of food, your arm, that's not a good place to be. You don't fight the same. So I was like, you know, make sure the troops, everybody's taken care of, everybody's fed once they get there. So there's management, getting people, and people like, man, Jeff, this sounds like a lot of work. I just wanted to sponsor somebody. I didn't want to, like, babysit and take care of and manage. And here's the thing, inspect what you expect. It's not just about going. Here's the thing. I want to bring people with me that can take care of all their own stuff. But I also have seen so many people overcome excuses. You know, people are like, oh, I can't make it. I'm sure Bess has an entire list of this because I remember her talking about this one time. She has an entire list of things. And I kind of have a mental list of things I've heard people do. One couple sold their kids' furniture They went in and they're like, we don't have the money, and they're like, that's an excuse. You do have stuff. You know, one couple had like 1,000 DVDs. It wasn't DVDs. This was a long time ago. This was VHS tapes. Had like 1,000 VHS tapes, and we're like, well, if they were each sold for $2, yeah, but I bought some of them for $20. Yeah, but you don't have enough money to make your mortgage payment now, and you're trying to build your business so that way you can make your mortgage payment. You're getting divorced. What are these tapes worth to you? Sell them for $2. That's $2,000. He had a garage sale. He sold a big handful of. He's like, well, I'm not selling for $2. I'm selling for $5. Great, then you have $5,000. Whatever. He made enough money, made his mortgage payment, made his car payment, went to the convention, came out, built his business. You know, one couple, they sold the kids furniture. I'm not saying that's a good idea. We actually had somebody on our team sell a car to get to the convention. There was another person at the convention that had sold their car to get to the convention and won a car while they were there. Their upline said, if you do this, I just have a feeling something magical is going to happen. They won one of the Mercedes. It was like, the lady got on stage and she couldn't talk. She's like, I'll have my husband explain this because I can't even talk right now. This doesn't make sense. And he told the story. He's like, guys, we didn't have enough money to come. We literally sold our car to buy plane tickets and tickets to get here and a room. And our upline told us that something magical was going to happen, and everybody who was there had bought a ticket to the raffle, and they won the car. I mean, it was just like, I was like, well, that couldn't have worked out better. Now, here's the thing. It doesn't always work out like that. So don't think, well, I'm just going to sell my car. I mean, be smart about it. I make business decisions. It's got to be a business decision. You know, if you want to go to the convention and your entire family is going to be homeless and nothing to eat, we'll talk and come up with another way to do that. That's not smart. You know, there is other alternatives to doing that. Sleeping indoors, you know, heat, food, those necessities, make sure we have these taken care of. You know, I've had people go get different jobs. I've challenged people on their job. It's like, so you have a job, full-time job, that pays the bills. Does that pay all the bills? Yeah, that pays all the bills. So this extra job is nothing more than extra money. Yes. And how much do you make? $7 an hour. So $7 an hour, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday. That's a total of like 7 times about 4 hours. That's 14 and 14. That's 28, 28, 28, and 28. So 30, 30, and 30 is 90, not even 90, minus taxes. So you're basically not going to the convention over about $65. Oh, I never looked at it like that. I'm like, what's the real reason you're not going? Because I'll add it up. I challenged people. I said, you know, and I have to be friends with him first. This was a friend of mine, Paul, and I challenged him. I was like, Paul, can we be real honest? You're 62 years old, and you're looking me in the face and telling me you can't do this because of money. I know you have an engineering degree. I know you have 2 companies, and you're working this part-time job. I said, this isn't a money issue at all. I said, just between you and I, what is it really about? He's like, I hate the guy I work for, and I don't want to talk to him about it. I was like, is there somebody above him? Yes. Does he ever take a day off? Yeah, Mondays he has off. Do you work Monday? No. So could you go in Monday and go around this guy you don't like that's confrontational and go to his boss and ask off, and you never have to ask him. Have that dude just tell him. He's like, that is a great idea. That's what we did. Avoid conflict. So it's excuse management. Overcome the excuse. Find a way around it. But here's the thing. Make it logical. It's not forceful. You don't have to. It's I want to see you succeed. That's the main reason. I can go find somebody else, but I want to see you succeed. I know if you don't go and I don't sit down and I go through this with you, then I didn't do my job in helping you succeed. That's what my job is. My job is to lead. And in some cases, it's overcoming all these objections. That's what your job is as a leader. So with that, that's what we do. You know, you track it down and you go right down to and you'll be overcoming these objections right down to the second you leave. I've done objection overcoming. Hey, I just got in a fight with my spouse. It's Friday. We're supposed to leave. We're arguing with each other about this, about that. You know, he was supposed to do it and he didn't do it. Good, put him on the phone. You know, she won't. She's saying if I leave, we're done, we're this, we're that. Great, put her on the phone. It was funny. I mean, people started to get to know me. After I did this a couple times, people got to know me. She's like, no, she just said, get your bags, get the hell out of here. You know, I don't want to talk to Jeff. No, sorry. I already know what's coming. You told me you wanted him home as a stay-at-home dad, right? I mean, I would just go back. This is why I did that agent profile. I'd just pull out the agent profile. You told me you wanted a stay-at-home dad. You told me he wanted. So now you're telling him he can't go to the convention because you're upset because you got to take care of everything for the weekend? I mean, if he goes and he makes enough money, he's home every day. I said, why don't you just make a contract with him right now that if he makes it, you're never doing dishes again, ever. She's like, that's a good goal. I'm like, then make him go and do it. This is some of the stuff that you may not hear in a training. You may not hear, but this is the stuff, this is the upper level stuff that once you learn how to do this is leading a massive group of team. This is the stuff you need to know if you want 5 people there and them have their 5 and them have their 5. You can go from 5 people to 25 people to 125 people. One of our events, we just started counting these different teams we were on. This is when we were managing all this and really learning all this. We went from a group of about 115 people to 700 people in 12 months showing up to a convention. I mean, it was like overnight, boom. All of a sudden, it was like six-figure income, 50,000, 50,000, 50,000, because we were kind of doing, where you were at. I mean, it was just like, and there were people who were making 5,000 that rose to 50. There were people who were making 15,000 that went to 100 in 12 months. Why? Because we started managing all these excuses, figuring out how to move people to these big events. And when people got to the big event, it took, basically, you do all this work to get to a big event, and it slows for like a week. It kind of slows down because everybody gets back and gets acclimated, and then it takes off, and you're never at the same spot again. Your low is never at the same low as it was before because there's so much more momentum behind it, and you just do it from event to event to event. So with that, I'm going to turn this back over to Bess, get some of her thoughts on this, and we will wrap this one up.
I'm unmuting myself. Okay. Thanks, Jeff. That was pretty fast and intense. I was taking a lot of crazy, mad notes here, and I love the management, the excuses management, or handling the objections. I've called it up front before people even know that they have them. One of my students, Paul Wheeler, tells about his convention story. He says he couldn't afford to go and stay over, so he drove 2 hours each day, each way for 3 days. His legs didn't work well. It took him 30 minutes to walk from the convention center to his car, and then the 2-hour drive, but he did that and would do it again. He had a tremendous transformation there. He's touched by the emotions of the founders and by meeting his mentors in person, because he was told all of his life, you can't do it. Don't believe in yourself. But his mentor did believe in him. So he had this dramatic breakthrough. And now he's getting successful in his business. He's also getting healthy with his products. He's lost weight. He exercises. He's committed to his business. He's off all of his pain meds. His blood pressure dropped. He's taken all of his products faithfully. So his life turned around. That was a transformational thing that happened. It's magic at events. If you think about how you feel at events, there's just something that is, it gets in you. It's even beyond logic for me to attend one. It's the synergy and the energy that's there, let alone the lessons from the $1 million earners, the community of like-minded entrepreneurs, because how often can you be around people who think like this? We're around naysayers so much. And 95% of the people are not thinking like entrepreneurs, right? So you need to recharge your batteries at these events. And it's an undistracted time where it's total immersion in this. You're away from your everyday environment, and you get to completely soak into this and let it soak into you. You get the social proof and the validation of being around other people and going for it like this, let alone the people who are getting results, 6- and 7-figure earners in the company. And suddenly you realize that you can do this too. They're no different than you. Just like Lisa was saying, Lisa Grossman, our friend, she went to her first event and went back and told her husband, like Jeff was saying, these people are, no better looking, no smarter, and all of that than us. We can do it too. We can do this too. And at that event, there's also the recognition that people get. So a lot that means a lot to many people. So it was at a convention like this that Eric Worre and Marina Worre met. I had the opportunity to interview Marina one time, and she said that she had it was a clothing company for infants and children, and she was very busy in that, but she got into network marketing and began that, was spending money on going to conventions and everything, and the initial investment. She hadn't really earned her money back yet, but there was another convention coming up, and she thought, oh, do I want to go to another one? But she got this strong nudge and this nudge and urge to go. And it was there that she met her now current husband, Eric. She became a translator. They met backstage and stayed in touch after that. And I believe it was at an event that Jeff and Brandy met. Jeff here with us, Jeff Gamble, and his partner, Brandy. So many cool things can happen. They are like magic. Besides the incredible tips that Jeff just gave us tonight of how to talk to people, you could also do things like hold a contest or a prize for the first ones to register, first ones to get their plane ticket, first ones to get their hotel. But the plane ticket's the one that's the most, that's the greatest commitment of all. The other ones, the hotel could be canceled, but the plane ticket, that's really cool. You could set up a Facebook event page to promote that, or have guest speakers come on and perhaps from the company, giving your team a preview of what's to come. But most of all, I think you can tell them what happened to you. And for example, you could have a team call and speak on there about your story, about what happened to you at the last event that you were at, and even most important, how you changed before and after, like these stories. So remember that you do make over time $1,000 for each person that you bring. And of course, lead by getting your ticket first, right? Tell people, I've got my ticket, do you have yours? So you can say, I'll be there. Will I see you there? And go ahead and say, yes, I have my ticket. I have my plane reservation. I have my hotel arranged. And let them know that. You can do the feel, felt, found and tell your story of what you experienced there. See if you can tell a measurable difference before and after in your attitude, your commitment, the number of presentations that you do, the ranks you jumped, how your check increased. Those are concrete and specific results and part of your story of getting to the conventions. I have my own from going to the events, to Eric Worre's events, even though those are generic ones. So generic ones can count in here as well. I believe that you make $1,000 or even more at the ones that you bring to, like Eric Worre's events or any big generic event. It works for those as well. So let's see, helping them overcome, babysitter, transportation, spouse's objections. Jeff, you covered that really well. It was an MLM Millionaire Club member, Kelly Hamilton, who said, I would have quit by now if I hadn't gone to these events. So decrease attrition, increase retention, getting your people there, and of course attend yourself and then get people there. You can even say, hey, how about if we all bring 5 people to this event and set a goal and sort of hold that expectation, because your team will feel that expectation, that sort of mental mold that you put out. Okay, we're all going, and we all bring 5 people. So that's in their mind, and they immediately start filling that mental mold. They start thinking of the 5 people who they would like to ride with. So just brilliant what we heard tonight. Thanks, Jeff, for that. Guess we can open it up for questions. Hey, Tammy joined us. Awesome. Welcome, Tammy. And welcome, Lucy. Thank you all for being here. Recording a separate session. I heard that it said the recording has started, so just wanted you to be aware of that. Anyone have a question? Takeaway? Tips? Comment? Oh,
hi, this is Adrian.
Hi, Adrian.
Hi. I just wanted to comment on, I really liked where Jeff shared how they divided up the snacks for people and how that could be something that really touched their hearts, you know, and it's a lot, sometimes when people are in a struggle like that, it's almost like fun and romantic. You know, it's like they struggled and they ate this food, and you know, it's just a beautiful story. So, you know, caring for the people in the little ways as well as the big ways. That's what I took away from it. Great story. Thank you.
Thank you. I just love that Jeff has told stories where he's helped people who needed things. You know, he looks after his. It's like he brings his tribe, but he doesn't abandon them. He looks after them and say, oh, you know, or this, your car broke down, and here, let me send somebody or whatever. So that's a good leader, right? Thanks, Adrian. So we would like to be led by like that, and can we be leaders like that? What did you learn tonight that you could add to your strategy of how you want to be a good leader? Step up to the next step yourself.
Working on it. Reviewing the agent profile, you know, when I'm talking to people, that's going to keep me on track and keep them on track too. That makes so much sense.
Awesome. Beautiful. For those who maybe don't know where that is, just go into the MLM Millionaire Club on the tools, and it's near the top. When you log in, the agent profile is what Jeff's created to interview, to get to know the whys and the goals, and more to know more about the new person that you sign up. So you should always know their whys. You should have that memorized so you can refer to it all the time when you talk with them. Jim Bailey typed in a little comment here. I just want to share, make sure everybody got that, because some of us are reading the text, the group text that's on here, the people that are online. And he wrote that one way to get there to an event is to volunteer. If you can't afford the ticket, sometimes they will let people volunteer in exchange for attending. So, it can be a lot of fun, huh, Jim? Thank you for that tip. Any other questions, comments, tips, thoughts, takeaways?
Yeah, I enjoyed the class. This is Jim out in Colorado here. The one thing I thought about a little bit was, you know, Robert Schuller used to say, if you can think it, you can achieve it. But maybe he was thinking, if you plan it, it happens, you know. So my takeaway was, you know, you plan and you got to have an action plan, but you just keep planning, and especially that excuse management. That was definitely something to write down and think about, because it's nice to be proactive and not reactive. And a lot of that event stuff is reactive, and if you're proactive, you can, you know that you're going to need water in 2 hours and there isn't going to be any around or anything. So those were my takeaway, and just having an action plan. I think that's a real good idea for everybody to have. I found if you write it down, a lot of times it happens. You know, I wrote it down, and then it was, I just said, you know, this person would join me, and sure enough, they did. Was it because I wrote it down? I'm not too sure, but it seems to help. So the planning action is definitely a key part in this whole thing. So thanks for the takeaway.
That's awesome. That reminds me of if you build it, they will come, right?
Yeah.
If we build the expectation, the vision, the dream, that people will feel it.
Yeah, I wrote it down as more of a belief it will build.
Welcome. This service is provided by freeconferencecall.com. The recording has started. Please announce yourself.
Hi, Tammy.
Hi.
Looks like we're getting some feedback. Okay.
Yeah. I was
there
on
we
the phone to iPad. Sorry.
Perfect. Okay. Awesome. It was, speaking about selling your car to get to an event, it was Hilton Johnson. He was talking about a coach, but it could be talking about events too. But he said, he's a network marketing teacher, Hilton Johnson, and he said, if you have a car but not a coach, sell the car and get a coach. You'll go farther. But the same thing could be said about getting to convention. So sometimes it's a better investment. Thank you. Anybody else that question or takeaway? Tip? How do you guys feel at conventions? What happens to you when you get there? William, you been to one? Who's been to one?
I would say I get upset.
Mm-hmm. Jeff gets upset? I get pretty changed when I go. I think more from the energy more than what the speakers say or anything like that. I think it's more from the contagious energy that's there.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi. I get very excited and very pumped up when going to a convention, being around so many like-minded people, being able to see the accomplishments that they've experienced, and also the goals that the company is putting out for the coming year. It just brings you back with a new sense of energy to go out and talk more about your company, your products to your friends and your clients and so forth.
Don't you feel professional?
Yes.
And doesn't that come across to the people that you talk with?
Yeah, they get excited too when you bring back information to share with them about the products and new things that will help them. They do appreciate it. And going back to team members that didn't go and kind of telling them, oh, you should have been there, trying to get them to change their mind for the next time, because when you don't go, this has happened to me. When I didn't want to go to a convention, I mean, I was really forced to go one time, and I didn't want to go because I had moved, and I just, for several months, I said I'm not going, despite the fact that I earned free registration from what I did, and I earned free hotel. The only thing I had to pay for was airfare, and I said, I'm not going. I have a new job, and I moved, and I'm not going. And finally, they broke me down, and I went. And it was the best thing ever that I finally said yes, because I realized that being on your own island all by yourself, not realizing that you are missing out on the big picture. And I was really thankful that they didn't stop hounding me on going, because I made a decision to grow my business from that, and I came back and did it.
Awesome. Congratulations. Why did you decide to go? What did they say that moved you that you decided to go? What was that turning point for you?
Well, because I was giving excuses. I mean, they were legitimate excuses. The fact that I didn't have anybody to care for my son. We were in a new city. I had no friends and this and that. And she just tried to give me ideas. You're only going to be gone the weekend. It's only going to be Saturday and half of Sunday, and you're really only going to miss Friday. Can't you do it? You're really going to learn a lot, and you already learned all this stuff from your work. And so I just said, yeah, I guess you're right. So, I had to listen to two people who really tried to talk sense into me by going, you don't want to miss this because it'll change you a lot.
Good. They held the vision until you could catch it.
Correct.
That's what we do. Anytime we sell, whether it's our product or our business or sell leaders or create leaders, you hold that vision until somebody catches it.
Right.
Good, because, the bit of effort it takes to get there is going to be worth exponentially so much more coming back. That's the vision we want to communicate with people, the value that they can't see yet if they haven't been there, but you do. You see it, so you got to hold that for them until they can see it too. And
after I saw the big picture and what they said, in order to move up to the next level and achieve a leadership position, this is what you have to do, and you can do it in 2 months. I came back and I made a decision on my way home to say I'm going to do it, and I did it in the 2 months.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a great story to tell. I think it's important when people get back from convention to tell the story to their team, put pictures on Facebook and in a Facebook group, but tell the story with the excitement you're feeling, your new commitment, how you changed, what you experienced there. That's your opportunity to gather up the people that are on the line for the next time.
Thank you. That's a great idea.
Tell stories. Report back everything that you can, and then track your results. What happened to you between conventions as a result of going. Keep track. Records. Write down. How many presentations was I doing a week beforehand, and now how many do I do a week or a day afterward? Showing the results, your checks, your bonuses, your the rank difference, the rank changes that you believe attributed came from that convention. And everybody else that went. As much as you can gather these stories and share them and tell them for the next one. Immediately start selling the next one, right? Because at that event they sell tickets for the next one, and you can be selling the next one as well by telling these stories. So, okay, you guys, you missed this one. This is what you missed. In 4 months, this is our next one. I've already got my ticket. 10 of our people have already gotten their tickets. They're lower now than they will be in the future. Who's going to get their ticket for the next one? You missed this one, but who's going to start planning now so that you can make it to that one?
Yeah.
In 4 months, you can handle any blocks that come up. You can do this. So sell the next one right away.
Bess, this is Tammy.
Tammy, welcome.
Thank you. Sorry I was running late. I was live myself on Facebook. I actually went to my first convention this year in July. And I have to say, or no, it was August, I had a blast.
Oh.
I have to say, the momentum the training, and just being able to view new products. And I have never been a network marketer, ever. Never, ever thought I would. I've never sold a thing in my life. And I learned a lot. I went to conventions, and then I turned around, and I did that with a broken ankle in a cast. And then I turned around 2 months later, and I went to a training. And then I went to another one just this past month. And the volume of training that I have received has changed immensely. Now, I can tell you from all that information that I learned at convention and the trainings, I had not put it to use. I'll be quite honest. I had written it down. I had recorded all the trainings that I had signed up for classes and things. And then I found you, and you and Jeff have given me a lot of information. And I can honestly say that my sales have quadrupled from last month to this month.
As a result of what?
Well, I can't say that it's doing my lives on Facebook, but I can say it is sending the PMs, my consistency and persistence. I still have to work on my sponsoring, but I am hoping to double promote 2 levels this month. Black Friday's coming up, and I have been working like a dog on my Black Friday specials. I'll be quite honest. I'm building excitement. I'm working on trying to let my customers know, hey, if you want my Black Friday specials, you have to get into my private group. And I'm going live, and I'm just doing these little things and graphics and, you know, all this stuff to build the excitement for corporate Black Friday specials. And I'm preparing them with my Black Friday specials before corporate hits them. And then they will run concurrently together. I'm shooting for a double promotion, and I'm going to get it.
Good girl.
Thank you.
Awesome. I do love your lives because they're so real and they're just so warm and connecting. You really have an art of connecting with people. And I know some of them get 1,000 views. So
yes, thank
you.
Good
job. Good job on being yourself, being real, connecting, caring about people, and it really comes across.
Thank you. It's been a little rough this last month with, I lost a brother last Sunday, and I have a sister-in-law that is dying right now. So, but I finally pulled it together, hopped back on, and everybody's been really good. All my customers checking on me and everything. So they're hanging in there with me, and I'm thankful that they did.
That is quite an amazing story right there. I'm very sorry for your loss and for the challenges in your life. And I know that you've had health challenges besides what you just mentioned. And to think that people will have excuses, and of course they're legitimate, why they're not active. And you have had this going on, and yet your sales have quadrupled at the same time that you dealt with all these things. I'm amazed and proud of you.
Thank you very much. You and Jeff have helped me a lot, and I thank y'all. I was up till 2 o'clock this morning doing graphics for my Black Friday specials.
So beautiful example of thriving in the midst of challenges, and I think it can be, like the trees in a forest when the forest fire comes through, or old trees die. They can give the fertilizer and the growth for the new trees, or the forest fire in that story cracks open the seeds that will not regenerate otherwise.
It's true.
So the dying can actually feed the new growth, actually.
Thank you.
It's the way of life.
Unfortunately, yes. But it does happen. It's just life. That's the only way I can explain it. It's
I
just
trust life must have a good reason for it being that way.
Right.
I can't always see it, but I do trust life.
Oh, yes.
I'm learning to.
Not easy, but we try.
Thank you for being an example and telling your story here.
Thank you, Beth.
And Jim's note about gratitude. Jim posted something in the MLM Millionaire Club about gratitude and how that works in his life. And I spoke a little today on the live about research has shown that it actually generates more gifts when we're grateful. So thank you. My greatest takeaway was that momentum, gathering the momentum. Even though it's work to get it going, there will be a magic tipping point where nothing can beat it if we keep going and if we don't give up. So I think it takes muscle and time and energy and patience and persistence to get that momentum going. And then, like an airplane getting off the ground, and then the magic happens. Right? Then it can't be beat. So thanks, Jeff, for that takeaway. That's mine. Anybody else have a takeaway or question? Tonight was so rich, it seemed like to me, just very, very special. And you each made it that way, and thank you for being here. Next time is number 10. The monthly action plan. That's jam-packed full of good creative thinking and goal setting too, strategies. Remember the Black Friday special, you can message me. Wednesday is our Leadership University, of course, the end of Becoming a Person of Influence, the last 2 chapters we're covering. Anything else, Jeff?
Nope, I think that's it. If nobody has anything else or any other questions, you can always reach us directly online. But we appreciate everybody for jumping on. I thought it was amazing. Tammy, congratulations on, already quadrupling. And, keep us up to date with your run towards your next 2 levels. We want to hear, about the success. Thank you so much.
And everybody else, too.